Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, July 12th. Skipped yesterday. Played D&D with my buddies. Today I worked, as I do. And after work, I'm like, I should watch a movie because it's movie day. I did not bother to order Grease yet, so I'm not going to watch that. But I watched the Nickelodeon movie last week, and there is another Nickelodeon movie on this shelf. So, I think today I'm gonna watch Harriet the Spy. Another movie that as a child I loved. It's a great movie. I watched it once as an adult. Probably at some point where I got the DVD copy, because I'm sure I got this later. And as a kid I probably watched like a VHS or something. But, I remember thinking, man, it gets pretty sad at points. That is my most recent memory of it. But as a kid, I loved it, and I definitely did, whatever, it's a kid that's pretending to be a spy and doing weird stuff. And they go a little further than I ever did, of course, but I definitely went through that phase. Possibly inspired by Harriet. But yeah, so I'm gonna watch and discuss Nickelodeon's Harriet the Spy. And I would give Harriet the Spy a 7 out of 10. It holds up. A fair bit better at least than Good Burger. I mean, obviously, it's designed for a much younger audience, but it has a lot more depth to the story. It takes itself more seriously. From the back of the box, Harriet M. Welsh, Michelle Trachtenberg, is probably the world's most accomplished 11-year-old spy. Harriet dreams of being a writer, and her nanny and best friend Gully, Rosie O'Donnell, told her to start by writing down everything she sees. It's all in good fun until Harriet's friends find her secret spy notebook. They don't like what Harriet's written, and they don't like Harriet that much either. Can Harriet win back her friends, or is she doomed to be an outsider, a rejected writer, and forgotten spy? It's good. It's good. It's a little slice of life as Harriet goes from having her nanny in her life and things going smooth to everything kind of falling apart at once. Her nanny quit/fired, moves on. Her friends find the notebook, and many of the people that she's spying on have things just go poorly in their life. It's like everything convenient to the plot falls apart all at once. But it does mean, emotionally, as the story takes you with it, that you are carried along by all these small aspects of things happening. Everything goes down, and her friends turn against her. The whole class hates her, which, I certainly relate to from about that age. And there's a few things, I definitely get teary-eyed when Gully leaves. And then I get angry. It bothers me at the point, where the whole class is against her, and they have spy catcher clubs, so basically they follow her around and make loud noise so she can't sneak around and watch people. She's not stealthy if people are following around and making noise. But then just the class sort of turning against her and dousing her in paint and then spreading it over her as the teacher encourages them. As if, in theory, I guess the idea is the teacher thinks that they're helping, but I don't care. at the point where the child is yelling stop while the group of other kids are surrounding her and patting her with paper towels, touching her, if the teacher's response is not immediately making sure that child is safe and away from the children that she is saying to get away from, that's bad. I'm like, So it feels like the teacher is joining in on the bullying. Harriet flees school, runs home, jumps in the bathtub, blue paint everywhere. And it bothers me. But this movie gives a release to that. Not a healthy release. But as she etches the names of every classmate down on her desk because her parents have taken away her notebook, her way of connecting to the world. And oh man, the way my brain watching this is like, there's a point where she's like, where they're like, go out and observe, get involved in the world. And she's like, the notebook is how I do it. And I'm like, like I would have any sort of crutch ever of, this is how I go out and involve myself in the world. Oh wait, you may not see, but I'm holding a camera. And it's what I've come to as an adult, so whatever. She etches the names of her classmates in her desk, and she goes about revenge one by one. The first one being one that still to this day gives me nightmare terror, as she's just sitting behind a classmate, and to get revenge, she just takes some scissors, and away goes the girl's ponytail. And that, I'm sure, is where that stint of fear ever in my brain comes from. And, things, simple things, messing things up with people's, spreading embarrassing photos. She's Xeroxed and taped over the walls against the bully who started it all. Just casually speaking in a way to convince the bully that she isn't loved by her father. And just like breaking the other child emotionally. It's revenge. It is revenge, and it's at a point where you feel good about it because you're so upset with everything that's happened. And then the story turns things around. Her old nanny visits. Goldie is back. To just hear the problems. Maybe give her 2 cents worth. And encourage Harriet that the thing to do is to apologize. And then we go through a few scenes of that because that's not an easy thing. And it takes several scenes and is a bit of a slow process, but she does. And that's kind of where the story ends. It's seeing what her life is like, seeing everything fall apart, seeing her react poorly to it, and then learn how to react positively to it. And that's the movie. And it messes with my emotions and pulls me around the whole time. There is a point. There's a point there where, near that end, where Gully is back and she's giving advice, you need to apologize. And she sort of gives the idea, you need to lie. The idea of white lies. I mean, if you say a tiny lie and it makes someone feel better, sometimes that's better. Anyways. Well, Harry's trying to figure out, do I go through the effort to do all that? It's too hard. It's not worth it. Gully replies, I'll never say that, Harriet. You're worth it. You're an individual, and you know something? That makes people nervous. And it's going to keep making people nervous your whole life. Harriet, whole life. Gully, yep. Harriet, what do I do? Gully, you stay true to Harriet, and you accept the cost. One of the things that I think is true, I know my mom said is true, is throughout my time growing up as a kid, I have always been weird. I've always been an individual. And there have been plenty of times I had plenty of peers that did not much care for that. I was very rarely susceptible to much peer pressure. I was true to me, and if people didn't like it, there were times where I didn't have friends. But that was the cost. Because I liked me. I was true to me. I didn't always like me. But I've been true to me my whole life. And at this point, I do like me. And I'm really glad for that. But just little statements like that. Because this, again, just like last year, you know, Good Burger was a movie I watched, I'm sure, a lot as a kid. This one I know was a movie I watched a lot as a kid. They're actually, I mean, the movie says copyright 1996. The DVD is copyright 2003. And it was around the time the movie came out that I was watching it tons. Because I was, what? 9, 10, something like that. Right in the target age range of these kids here. I loved it. But when I was past the point of loving it, I bought it. Because I had enough recollection of how many times I watched it that I was like, I want that as something that's part of my life. I want to keep that. Even if it's not the movie I want to watch all the time, day in and out anymore, like it was when I was a small child. It was important to grab that memory. There's a few movies on these shelves that I did for that. But it's always, you know, with it, because I mean, most of them, it's been 10 years or more since I've seen the movies. And it is interesting to watch them and to look at little things and be like, I bet that influenced how I became who I am from these movies that I watched so much as a kid. That I don't think about, oh, that's where that came from, but just some of those encouragements and things like that. I did definitely stuff a bunch of gadgets in a belt as a kid and wander around spying. Whatever. But I was always a weird kid. Fortunately. But that's one more movie on the shelf that gets to be pulled forward. And I'll probably call it a night. Need to do some Bible reading. Got a Bible study tomorrow with John. And I haven't read one of the chapters yet. So I'll get that taken care of and call it the night. Thank you for joining me. Join me as my journey continues. Bye.